So, welcome everyone to the Aperitif concerts. This is issue number 2 of our return back for the rest of our season. My name is Stacy Dyson. I lead Tesoro, which is an international network of women who work in words. We've got poets, we've got songwriters, we've got storytellers. And we are, as I say at the beginning of all of these, and I'm being completely genuine, we are blessed to have this artist on today. Victory is somebody that I saw for the very first time, not quite, oh gosh, not quite 6 months ago. And I heard her once and I'm like, she's one of us. She I've got to get a hold of this woman. I'm not going to give you the bio because we all know I never do that. I am going to let her tell us who she is and how she's feeling. Victory, honey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Give us a little bit of a bio on yourself.
Okay. Well, I am an artist and a writer. I have a history in slam competition. I was a slam poet since around the turn of the century. Since around the year 2000 is when I got started in Dallas, and started out uh, with crippling social anxiety and extremely shy. Had no business getting up in front of people. But I went through a divorce and I'd been a mom at home with my kids, and my world had been very small. And suddenly I was divorced and I had all this time on my hands to myself, and I didn't know where to go or what to do. No friend circle, really, not much of one. But I had always liked poetry. And I started going to some open mics, and just watching because I was too shy to get up there and read my poetry. And then finally, after a few times and a couple of beers, I I took my little paper up there with one of my poems, and got up on the mic and read my poetry, shaking paper and all. And it was such a boost. It lifted me up. I felt so powerful at a time that I felt pretty weak and beat down, that I kept going to these open mics. I finally started going to an open mic that the first half was an open mic and the last half was a poetry slam, and I learned what that was, a, an artistic competition. And I kind of slowly started to find myself, sometimes I wouldn't have enough poets to compete, and so I'd be like, oh, I'll compete too, okay. And I got less and less shy. And I learned, and the skills that I learned up on the stage, I learned to bring down into real life, into regular, like across the table with people. I learned how to talk to people, and I learned how to make friends and find like-minded spirits. And it changed my life. And so that's how the poetry all happened. Uh, the visual art has always been a part of me too. I'm a painter, and I write otherwise. I just write uh, not just poetry, short stories. I've got a book that I'm working on, that kind of thing. And did all this beginning in Texas, and about 3 years ago, I moved my butt out to New Mexico, and that turned out to be a wonderful opportunity. I've been loving New Mexico. I love road trips out here. So that's kind of me in a nutshell right there.
Hey, that's all that I could possibly ask for. So I'm going to start this interview as such with a question that I ask everybody, and you can interpret it however it is you want to interpret it. Why poetry and why now?
Hmm. Poetry, because it is a great way to connect with other human beings, to find out find what's essentially the same between us all. Why poetry? Poetry allowed me to express myself, and sometimes it's a little bit of therapy, and it can be beautiful and it can be fun, it can be funny. And why now? Right now, all of the arts are more important than ever. We're going through some pretty trying times, and our freedom to speak our minds, our freedom to express ourselves it's under fire. It feels jeopardized right now, and so now it's time to. I don't know if there's anything on my list that I intend to read from today that is particularly controversial or political. I think I leaned away from that today, maybe because I'm exhausted from it. But I do write stuff like that, and this is a great time for us to express ourselves. But also, it's a good way for people to see the humanity in each other. So all the arts now is a very important time for us.
So you are handed tax-free $10 million. You can hop on a plane and go anywhere in the world to poet. Where's the first place you go?
Oh, where would I want to go and perform? Well, I have a very dear connection in Hawaii, so I'd want to go there, I suppose. I have performed poetry in Hawaii, and I've got a significant other there. I suppose that's the number one place I'd want to go. But I've also performed in Ireland, and I would so love to go back there. Poetry is their language there. It's like I very much felt at home amongst the Irish. It's like I was down in County Cork for a poetry festival. So it'd be one of these two places. If I could split the money between two, it's like I'd spend some time in Hawaii and then be like, okay, I got to go back to Ireland and see some of the performing poetry in Irish pub well after midnight. There's nothing like it. I wanted to perform poetry in a pub full of people who all know your name, and it's like, and it was just everything I dreamed it would be. Somebody'd say, "Hey, Gene, could you give us a song, please?" And then Gene, sitting in the corner, would raise his mug and start to sing an Irish song that everybody knows the chorus and goes back. It's like, oh my God, it's just like in the movies. So I know I could go back there again.
Okay. When you started out doing this, was this where you expected to be?
No, no, I did not. Not to the so much performance to it. Writing, yes. I always knew I'd write. I always figured I'd get some things published. I always knew I'd write. I didn't know how much I would enjoy performing, or that I'd be any good at it. That's been a complete shock and surprise.
So you're on stage, crowd's ready to go, you're ready to go. What is the thing that, how shall I say, most of the artists I know need to center themselves somehow. What do you use to do that?
Let's see. I take a deep breath and I look out at the audience slightly over their heads, slightly above. I don't make eye contact with faces yet. I kind of look at the distance beyond them a little bit. It allows me to feel more comfortable up there. And if I start to have any butterflies, any discomfort, any stage fright coming up, then I remind myself that this is going to be over in a few minutes. It'll be fine. And everybody knows this is one of the scariest things to do. It's like one of the most common fears people have, phobias, is public speaking. And I've gotten to where I do it all the time. I'm able to do it all the time. It gives me so I just kind of remind myself of that. And after I start the poem, that's when I can start to look at people. That's when I can look. But at first, don't look at their faces. Look right over their heads.
What do you use as, for lack of a better phrase, the wind beneath your wings? What inspires you? What gets you up on that stage? What gets you, sitting down and bringing fire out of your pen? What does that?
I love it when I get an interesting random thought. So that's what is like I will be doing something else. I will either be driving, or I'll be watching TV, I'll be listening to music, whatever, and I'll have some interesting random thought, a cool sentence, a cool thought, and I'll write it down somewhere, and then just go throw it back in this art area here. There's all these little slips of, of stuff on sticky notes all around here. And I've apologized to my daughter in advance. It's like, when you have to, after I pass, you're gonna find all these crazy, and I call them poetry seeds. They're poetry seeds, and they're scattered all around here. And it's like, and It's like, please don't judge me when you read these crazy, stupid things I've written. It's like, it's gonna look like mom's crazy. But and so sometimes I'm able to go ahead and flesh out that thought right then. I will stop what I'm doing. It's 2 a.m. I should be asleep, but I've thought of this cool thing. I'll race over and I start writing it down and I find out, oh no, I'm stuck writing for the next hour because this is good. But sometimes I just make the little poetry seed on the sticky note and I find it later and I start writing based on that.
So last question is, we're talking about favorite things. Start, get a little insight. Favorite ice cream.
Favorite ice cream. Pecan praline.
Interesting. Favorite soft drink.
Coca-Cola.
Yes, as
I'm
the
a
Lord
basic
intended. Moving. Favorite mythical creature.
Favorite mythical creature. I like dragons. I like dragons. I like the idea of riding on the back of a dragon, and to feel that power, and the idea that it also is a weapon, fire breathing.
I think that'll just about do everything that we need, for that answer to do. So, as custom prevails, as custom dictates, for the next 30 minutes, Basil is dear heart.
Okay. I think I got my time right. If I start to go over, just let me know. But I think I timed this. I'm a professional.
No worries.
The first poem is kind of an introduction, because the name Victory, it is my real name. It's my last name. And when I started to get on stage that first time with the shaking paper, I heard people having stage names, and I thought, oh, I've got a stage name already. I'll just go by my last name, Victory. And it started as a stage name. It became my name with everybody. It's like my friends all call me Victory. Vic, my guy calls me Vic, everybody. So this is a poem that introduces that. My name. A gift to me from my father on my birthday. A battle cry for his sugary, spicy, victorious, dark-haired beauty. Slick Colorado ice changed my name to First Scar. Daddy held the gash closed so they could stitch me a permanent mark across my forehead. In kindergarten, my name became a ghost when I learned to hide. I placed secret names on invisible love notes, safety pinned to the Valentine inside my chest. This hurt. I grew up and fell in love with the little pistons of a bright yellow Spitfire convertible. It changed my name to Wind and Road and the rage of my stereo. David changed my name to Us, then to Forever, then to the blue sound of black pain. When he changed my name to Bitch, I had trouble answering. I secretly called myself Forgiver. When my children changed my name to Mom, I danced until I almost forgot that I'd ever had another name for years. Divorce gave me back my father's name, but it was loneliness that changed my name to Poet and called me Artist. Although I'd had many names, Brian wouldn't call me by any of them. One fool even tried to rename me something girly that he liked better. This made me laugh. My names have been spoken, bellowed, whispered, wept, and written. I like to be called love. I answer to second chances. But what I name myself is that gift from my father on my birthday. I call myself Victory. Thank you. Now let's see, let's switch it up here to, where's my next project? There we go. Okay. Now, how about a magic spell? This one's called Cast a Spell. Tonight, I will conjure something from the earth. I will raise a power Gonna cast a spell that'll heal my over-civilized will. Change me from race and rat to human, cause the forces that hold me to retreat, make clear my pathway to heaven through exhaust fumes and concrete and all things unnatural and unintended by God. I'm gonna conjure something from the earth. I will reach down into the ground through soil, cracked clay, grains of sand to find the dust of Adam, the essence of the original plan. Bring it up, let it free again, catch the wind, breathe it in, hold it, and exhale like a prayer, loud and clear. I'm gonna get angels tangled in my hair. Sweat out the poisons and preservers that lurk inside, be all made of magic, like before this time of reason. Force back all the ugly ages, and I'll change this dangerous season when childhood dies too young, wild things are drained and straightened, and voices that used to talk straight to God now only pray the way men at pulpits say, while something unseen and financial sucks you dry. That I will conjure something from the earth. Blood will ooze from stones like pure spring water to fill and dampen our old dry hearts, so we could all be innocent lovers again. Do you remember when, 16 years old, and you could spend long, steamy summer nights trying with all your might just to crawl inside each other? Before we knew that when you crawl deep enough inside, you just come out the other side, staying with another's pain and reeking of their insecurities. And you say, I don't want to know that anymore. I want to take time and keep time the way only a wrist with no watch can keep it, close to the ticking of my heart, guided by the sun and unworried. I want to unchain the children I see behind your eyes. I will all go climb apple trees tonight, play freeze tag in the moonlight, build a fort. We'll hunt frog eggs in the morning. So, with a wing of firefly and the dried hide of a Texas horned toad in my fist, I will chant my incantation to the gathering wind, from grass below to stars above, with tears of regret and whispers of love, knowing that the serpent lied, aching for the forgotten tribes, yearning for old ways that died, crying for the wounded and barely alive, swimming hard against the tide, knowing it's hopeless, but at least I tried the impossible. Practice stronger magic than even I believe in. I come to you, an unworthy priestess, doused in kerosene, lit on fire, crimson flames twisting, rising higher and higher and higher until you lick the toes of God. Thank you. Okay, so let's have some blues. I've got a blues poem. And I hope my voice will hold up for this. Rumble thunder, rain come tumbling down. Don't care about no fever. Don't care about muddy ground. This ain't no 40 days and 40 nights kind of a rain. This is a who knows when the pain's gonna end kind of a rain. No rainbow promises at the end kind of a rain. Only a broken heart could send this kind of rain, and I'm drowning. He says he doesn't love me anymore. So here it comes, my own hellacious downpour. Come tumbling down. Bring on the bad storm. Drown and drench this blue soul through and through so that I'll know better next time. Won't get so damn full of the moonlight next time. So remember next time that sometimes forever ain't nearly as long as you think it's going to be. See, I remember him smiling, looking down at me, before he started looking down on me. The way cruel hearts do once they realize that you really do love them unconditionally, so the fuckers don't have to do a thing right anymore. No. No good narcissistic lovers thinking tears are just water, like diamonds are just stone. Knowing nothing better, they'll get away with murder before they go away altogether. This is what I gotta remember. That you can't love somebody into loving you back. And you can't just put more of your own heart into the equation to make up for what they lack. And just because you want something so bad you can taste it, don't mean jack. It's like those daisy petals. You remember? He loves me. He loves me not. And if you really want to know where you're going to come out and end, all you got to do, baby, is count those petals first. See what you got. It's just the cruel hearts, but we fools too who are true authors of the blues, this is what I gotta remember. So I'm making a bargain with that dark sky tonight. Bring on the bad storm and drown me. Bring on the bad storm and drench me. Bring on the bad storm and drown me and drench me and teach me a lesson that I won't so soon forget. You can crash down lightning, just light my way back home. Where I've got ooh, waiting for me by my window all alone. Thanks. Thanks. Okay, like I mentioned, I'm from Texas and been here for 3 years now. And this, every now and then I think about home. And I wrote this while I was still living. Down shifting up Ranger Hill, the west opens wide, like a girl who can't say no. But you don't really know her yet. Keep driving, even though you're unsure and haven't seen a speed limit sign since you don't know when. This is Texas. It gets so hot that it rains devils. Asphalt like a bowie knife cuts through crisp grassland all the way to Monahan's strange sands, where I once spoke the names of my enemies, spit in a bottle and buried it deep. My favorite color is west. Is sky the size of God? Is rusty barbed wire? Is the blur of heat on the horizon? Pecos peppered desert, gang banged by oil field pumps, right next to wallflower wind farms left unloved by the breeze. All dressed up, no wind to blow. The lone star above scorches everything, dry and lonely. Even the ground separates from itself, leaving cracks so deep the dogs fall in. This place will kiss you like a cactus. Thank God it doesn't embrace. It knows it's a cactus. So it just stands there, and dares you. Thanks. So this one is from, it has to do with, I did a poem earlier where I mentioned scars, and this one is a letter to me from my scar. My middle daughter was a cesarean, so she definitely left her mark. I was born from smooth flesh. Mother was a wound, father was the time it took for the blood to clot. Stitches embraced me, good friends. They held me, pulled me together, and didn't let go until I could do it myself, hold myself closed, pursed in a permanent kiss. When they were removed, I thought I might burst. I was tight and raw and scary before the dried gore flaked away. Born from wound and time, I am tough tissue. I regret that I shame you, that you hide me. Just like you, it wasn't my choice to be here. And I don't want to be ugly. Scars, we try to be small. We try to shrink, fade into the surrounding flesh. The one on your chin, the result of a childhood collision with pavement. I wish I was tiny like that one. Not such an extensive roadmap to your past injury. I am a big scar. Often jealous of the love you bear for the marks needled into your skin, your tattoos, your chosen scars. I was not chosen. I was fate. But I am so much more. More than the terrible flaw you fear to show a future lover. I am the thickest, strongest part of you. I am the signature of your powerful love. I was the curtain that parted when your beautiful child stepped upon the stage. Please, when you touch the length of me, think of her and love me. Understand what I represent. Just like you, I am proof that sometimes there is a price. The life goes on and damage heals. I am the strongest skin you have. All right, so I have had 3 kids. First one's my son, middle daughter, that poem was about her, the youngest one. We lost her about 8 years ago, I believe it was, to suicide. And that is the book I'm currently working on. I hope to have it done within the year. I'm doing a book that is a collection of poetry about her in the summer, poetry about her loss, and stories about her and how the family handled the aftermath. And so I decided to bring one poem that is going into that book that I'm pretty pleased with. So yeah, the sun sinks behind the trees and rooftops, exhausted. It surrenders. There is nothing more unstoppable than time. I wish more than anything that we could move through time at our own pace, in whatever direction. I would go back and do things differently. I would try to fix all the things that broke, like your heart. I would go back and hold on to some moments for so long. Make a day go on for a week. Time is not ours to command, though. It is linear and relentless from day to night to day. And now that you are gone, I ache at the thought of how many days I will live without you. How many mornings I will wake up and realize that you are only a memory. How many sleepless nights will I be haunted by intrusive thoughts, visions of you crying without hope and making that final decision. Visions of you buying the bottle of pills. I found the receipt among your belongings. I found the bottle of little pink pills. You'd swallowed half. You were determined. Could I have stopped you? Or were you as unstoppable as time, as weary as the exhausted sun at the end of a day, sinking into the horizon, surrender inevitable? The evening is warm. It's the end of the first day without you. The sinking sun gives into the night. The day's last light illuminates the clouds in an array of colors: orange, violet, and Benadryl pink. That was a hard one to do. Now I'm going to turn to me. Something very uplifting. I used to live out in the country. And I had 4 acres and lots of stars. So I stepped out under a crowded country sky and I realized that I have so many stars and that you might not have enough. So I inhale, take them in for the next time I see you. When I do see you again, it's not butterflies in my stomach, but a million flickering shards of light poking around inside me. When our eyes meet, I give stars to you. Use them wisely. Some can guide you on long voyages. Some are tethered together into constellations that hint at destinies. Some are good for wishing. Those are my favorites. I tried to gather as many as I could of the wishing kind for you, because if you are like me, you need them. This world is rugged terrain. You probably feel alone sometimes, surrounded by dark mountains and dangerous animals. Sometimes you may hurt like a mouthful of cavities. I'd like to fill your mouth with a bouquet of songs. The kind of songs you sing with the car radio, passing your driveway, looping the block another time because the song isn't over and your favorite part is coming up. That part when the backup singers start snapping and repeating your words in harmony because they get what you're saying It feels so good to be understood. That's why the sweetest words in any language are not, I love you, but I know what you mean. Understanding makes us brave, brave enough to step closer to each other, to approach the edge and leap out expecting to take flight. I want to be the towel you tie over your shoulders when you want to fly. Truly, though, Superman's cape didn't make him fly. It did make him look good flying, though. And you do look good. I just want to make sure you know it. Don't let gravity get you down. Let it pull you closer to what loves you. I know. Sometimes you feel like a lonely no one. So when that feeling takes you, I'll be a lonely no one with you. When you are a tempest of confusion, I'll be glad to cool your boiling thoughts. All you need to do is call out. I will be the one writing echo straight back to you. And now I will do my favorite love poem. Let's find it. Where is the favorite love poem? Let's see. That's not a happy love poem. Where's the happy love poem? No. Let's see. Let's remember. There we go. If you've ever been in a relationship with somebody, it's like, those guys who don't want to put a name on it, can't say love, love's an awfully big word, it's like, just don't put a label on things and stuff. Yeah, I had me one of those. I turned him. He says it all the time now, but there was a time when he was not good with that 4-letter word. I get heavy with you. All those broken, crooked pieces of you, I will love you whole. Fill the gaps and cracks with gold. But you can't call it love. So call it wow. Call it water in the desert. Call it gravity that way it pulls. Call it song. Call it broken promises mended by a defiant, unstoppable fury. Call it a lesson in reincarnation. Call it a lesson in forgiveness. Call it oh fuck. Call it I can't stop. Call it don't stop. Call it by my name. Call it the most frightening thing you've ever seen, then kiss it on the mouth. Call it the plow that splits the dry earth open, ready for seed. Call it your favorite thing. Call it weed. Call it rescue and escape when everything gets to be too much or not enough. Call it there for you. Call it from the other side of the planet, long distance in the middle of the night. Call it a conversation. Call it a conversation in a Tarantino movie. Call it Clarence in Alabama. Call it a loaded gun. Cupid packing a semi-automatic, letting loose a hailstorm of bullets and razor-sharp Valentines. Call it unlikely. Call it impossible. Call it no, 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 no. Call it yes. Call it yesterday and tomorrow. Call it once upon a time there was a boy without a Christmas. Call it a gift. Call it I see you. Call it eyes red filled with pool water. Call it I know you. Call it once upon a time there was a girl who lost her eyesight in a poker game when they called her bluff, but somehow she still stumbled into you. Call it pretty, even when it's a mess. Call it what it is, a mess. Call it a message, scrawled on the palm of your hand, smudged beyond recognition, but clearly important if only you could read it, if only you could remember. Call it by another lover's name, other than yours. Call it stay and go and wait. Call it worth every minute. Call it art. Call it Michelangelo, not the artist, the Ninja Turtle. Call it silly. Call it orgasm followed by a high five and a fist bump. Call it victory. Call it surrender. Call it anything you want. Don't call it what you can't. It doesn't matter what you call it. It beats on just the same. Call it insane. Call it magic. A spell cast by Screaming Jay Hawkins and Nina Simone on a hot, dirty night while the skyline watches us on a rooftop. I put a spell on you. No. Don't call it love. Call it what you will. doesn't change a thing. Thanks. Last poem. If I have a signature piece, this would be it. Back in the days when I was slamming, this was guaranteed to help me win a slam. If I had a shot in hell of winning a slam, this poem would do it. Ladies and gentlemen, bending the boards on this here stage, 1 ton of absolutely curvaceous attitude coming right at you. I'm fat. Fuck you, I'm fat, but I don't have to be small just to make you feel big. I get to be big. Big in body, mind, and spirit. I'm a large girl. I take up space. I don't want to hear you say, but you have such a pretty face. Honey, I am pretty in a lot of other places too. Precious few of which I intend to show to you. Yeah, I'm fat. Hourglass figure, something more like an hour and a half. Aware of the fact because I'm wide, I will be disqualified as sexy. My mind's too narrow to appreciate this wider perspective. Ain't much I can do if that's their view, but do they suppose that they'd be greater if only I were lesser? Fuck that shit, I don't need the pressure. This is me, and every inch of me is mine, and these fine arms have held the crying, comforted the dying. Upon this ample lap, loved ones have laid their aching skulls and have lulled them to sleep. My spirit is wide, and tall, and deep, and big, and fat, undeniably fat, defiantly fat. I have grown weary of the dark colors meant to camouflage. If I am as big as a house with a 2-car garage, there ain't no tricks gonna make me look like I'm a size 6. No tricks, no lies will disguise these thighs. So guys, I will rise against the lessons I learned as a girl. Nothing will lessen me. And I will wear horizontal stripes, bright colors, big prints, short skirts, the clothes that make me happy or the clothes that make sense. And what makes no sense at all is why should I have to fake small when I can be grand, immense, voluptuous, Rubenesque, PHAT, FAT. I can and will be as big as I want to be. Matter of fact, I'll stretch out north, south, east, west for a half mile in all directions. It'll be nothing but me, and you will just have to go around. I'll say it out loud. I'm fat and I'm proud. All my round sisters rock on. And all my itty bitty sisters, y'all rock it big. Because it ain't about how many inches round, dig? It's about how big you are in here. Thank you for your time.
Love that. I knew you could rock, honey, but I rarely get the opportunity to hear you rock like that. I'll open up your mic, still these ladies some roses. I am almost not quite speechless. That was fantastic, honey.
That was great, Victory. I am so glad I got to hear you read in depth like that. I've never heard you read in depth and hear your range because doing open mic, you just read one poem. So this is really great. I love it. I love it. Love you too.
Wasn't sure I was
Let's
gonna
go,
do
Victory! Woo woo!
It was fun to have extended time. It's like, yeah, I didn't have to work so hard to pare it down to 1 or 2 poems.
Yeah,
Thank you for
one
the
of the things
opportunity.
that we're working to eliminate in the world is these 2-minute, 3-minute sets. That foolishness, that's just no. That's not working anymore.
Yeah, the usual is going to be 10 minutes, 15 maybe, if they're very generous, 20, So
Hmm.
this was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Said it was I needed this today, so thank you so much for that. For those of you who are watching, we will be doing this again next month. Not going to tell you who's going to be on because quite honestly, I don't know yet, but it will be someone fantastic. It will be someone flavorful. It will be someone who's ready to just breathe fire one way or the other. If you are watching and don't know about Tesoro, you can find out what we're up to, who we are, www.firesingers.com. Keep an eye on that space. things are always popping, and we love to show off what our folks are doing. Victory, again, thank you so much. That was quite extraordinary.
Thank you.
And for everybody else, no matter where you are in the world, mind how you go. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the night, depending on where you are. And keep it light. We'll see you somewhere around the corner. Bye-bye.
Bye, thanks.